Hey everybody, it's Jesse, and thanks for joining me today. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. So normally I work on a project that I'm doing for work. But today I'm going to contribute to someone else's project. So if you watched yesterday, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch, I'll kind of explain how I got to this point. So yesterday I was trying to set up click tracking for Google Analytics, and I was already using something called React GA. So it was an NPM module that made it easier for you to use Google Analytics in React. But when I finally got it, I had some other unrelated problems during yesterday's stream, but when I finally got it working, and I went to click the link, I wanted it to open in a new tab, but it was blocked. The browser treated it as a pop-up and blocked it by default. So that's not what I wanted. So I had to end the stream right when I found that error, or I should say you all in the live chat found the error as well, I think before me. But I didn't have time to fix it right then during the stream. So later on, after I had a really long meeting, I found the answer, and or at least got on the right track to the answer. And so what I did is I made a component to use that was kind of like a wrapper around what React GA was already providing, and now it works. So I'll show you the component first, and then I'm going to take you through the whole process of forking the React GA repository, making the changes, and then submitting a pull request. So I have no idea if the pull request will get merged in or not, but this does work. I've tested it out, so hopefully we can get everything merged in. So I thought I had this up. I guess I don't, but here's the component. Okay, so I will say the idea for this I got from an issue that was already open. So there are several issues open about this. I think I found 3 of them that were all about the same issue. So I'm actually going to show you just so that you could see kind of the difference here. So ACOM in April was able to do this, and this ended up working. Okay, it worked for ACOM, it worked for this guy, and it worked for me. And I guess some other people too, because it got 4 thumbs up. One of those is my thumbs up. So he did this. I copied this and tried to use it, and it didn't work. Now I'm sure it was probably something I was doing that it didn't work, because it worked for these other people. So I probably somehow messed it up. But what I did then to get it to work for me was I kind of combined what was done in another component. So the layout component that I have, and this was brought in from a pull request. I can't remember who exactly did this pull. I submitted the pull request for this one, but I thought, you know what, this layout component is doing a similar thing in terms of, you know, what it's bringing in and what it's outputting as to what I want to do. So I basically took the structure of this layout component and I combined it with what was going on basically in this part here, and I made a new component. So the combination of those 2 components works, and this is what it does basically is as an input, it takes in a 2, which is basically your href that you'd normally put on a link. It takes a label. This is what's going to show up in Google Analytics. And then it takes, you know, whatever other props you put on there. So like your title tag you'd normally put on a link, or any classes that you want to put on there. And that all gets in here. Right? So what gets outputted then is a regular link with all your props, your href, which is the value for 2. It says target blank by default, and then it has this click handler, so on click it runs this, and this is what's going to log the event as a click and send it to Google Analytics. Okay, so when done like this, it behaves properly, and it opens it in another window, and I'll show you just to give you some proof that it's actually working. So I push this to the repository or to the live site, and I click it, and there it opens in another window. Okay. And I'm not going to go through showing it in Google Analytics, but it does show up in Google Analytics, and we'll inspect it. I just want to show you what it looks like here. If you can't already guess, you see what gets, oops, too big. What gets put out here is an A tag. Looks like a normal A tag with the exception of this, you know, React ID, but I mean that's normal for React. So that's the change that I want to submit. Basically, I'm going to submit a new component that's going to be just for the situation where someone wants to track an outbound link and they want that link to open in a new window. Okay, so it's going to be pretty straightforward in terms of a pull request. I'm not going to actually even change anything that's already there. I'm just going to add one extra component. So we shouldn't have any conflicts or anything like that. So it'll be, if the maintainers of that repository want to bring it in, it should be pretty easy for them to bring it in. I know there's some style differences I noticed between what I did here and what they're doing. So aside from that, we can probably use this as is. The only difference is I think I'm going to change the name. I had just used the name from that issue, and but I think I'm going to change the name to make it more obvious that this is just for links that you want to open in a new window. Alright, so since I've given the introduction here, I'm going to check out the live chat and see who's here and who's saying hi. Hey everyone. A lot of people saying hi. Okay, so someone asked PR is pull request. So we had that's been explained in the live chat. Yeah, so I didn't want the title to be really, really long, so I did abbreviate PR. If you're not familiar with that, that's pull request, and that's what it's called when you submit a change to someone's project on GitHub. All right. LA Xavier says, I'm going to watch this later at higher speed. Man, sounds too bored for me. Do I really sound bored? Actually, I think I do. Sometimes I don't usually listen to my videos, but occasionally I do, and I do think I sound bored sometimes. So I actually try to like have caffeine and stuff beforehand so that I'm a little bit more awake. But I don't know. I'm normally kind of really laid back, so it's hard to put on the act that I'm upbeat. But I'll do my best. Okay, so I think I've gotten through everything in the live chat. Alright, well actually there's one question. Is freeCodeCamp good enough to help me change my field? So Harmeet asked that. freeCodeCamp's a good start, and I know people that have done freeCodeCamp and then gotten jobs. So if you want to be a web developer, freeCodeCamp is really good for that. If you want to go into anything else, in the field, you know, if you want to develop, I don't know, like desktop apps. I mean, I realize that you can use things, other things like Electron or React Native to develop desktop and mobile apps, but basically it kind of depends on what you want to do. but you could. I would supplement it though. I mean, it's always good to supplement depending on what particular project you're working on at the time. So if anyone else has any advice for Harmeet about whether or not freeCodeCamp is good enough to get the learning he needs to change his field, go ahead and put it in the live chat or in the comments to the video later on. I personally have used a lot of other resources, but it might be helpful if you've mainly used freeCodeCamp and been able to get a job with that, then you're probably the person that Harmeet needs to talk to. All right, here's another question about pull requests from Zeal. So I'm going to answer this because this really it's pertinent to the topic today. It says, why is it referred to as a pull request when you are pushing up to FB's repo? I don't know what FB is, but is it because the repo owner is pulling your code? Yeah, basically, is you're requesting that the owner of the repo pull your code in. Yeah, so it's from the perspective of the repo owner. So from your perspective, you're pushing code, right? But from the repo owner's perspective, they're pulling it. So you're asking them, requesting that they pull the code in. Oh, okay. Zeal said FB was Facebook. Yeah, so I'm actually, let me show you the repo. I've linked to it in the description as well. So here's the repo that I'm going to be pushing to. And this is what we worked with yesterday as well. So this is not, as far as I know, this is not from Facebook. I mean, I potentially could be mistaken. I think it's unrelated to the official, React project from Facebook. Let me see who the contributors are. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anybody in here that I usually see with Facebook's official React stuff. So, yeah, so I don't know. I think this is an unrelated repository. So anyway, let's get to it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to fork the repo. So I'm going to fork it to my account. While I'm waiting for this, I'll let you know, I did start that React course that I was talking to you all about yesterday, the Udacity Nano degree for React. So I started it. It went through. It only started for me an hour ago, so I only did a little bit just to check it out. So far, it's cool. It was all just introductory stuff, but hopefully, it ends up being a good course. If you're interested, I'll give some updates, and then maybe you all can decide whether or not it's worth it. If maybe one of you would like to take it as well. Okay, so now we have a fork. So you can see this is my GitHub account, but then I have this. Okay, so I mean, this is basic stuff, but if there's anyone watching that's not really familiar with Git or GitHub, then I'm going to kind of go over each step. So if you're really advanced with Git and GitHub, then this might be a little bit basic, at least at first for you. Might not be that exciting. But I don't want to leave anybody behind, so I'm going to try to be as detailed as I can. Okay, so now we want to clone this repo. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring over my terminal, because that's what we're going to work in at first. All right, so let me open up, let's make this bigger, and we need to go into projects. So I keep everything I'm working on mostly is in my projects folder, so you can see there's all this stuff in here. So once I'm in the projects folder, I can type in git clone, and then I'll paste that in. Since I have SSH keys set up, this will work. Otherwise, you can use the HTTPS. So you can click that, use the HTTPS. I think you need, if you do it that way, I think you need a password. I haven't done it that way in so long, I can't remember, but that's what you would use if you didn't have your keys set up already. Alright, so let's clone that. Must be pretty small. That was super fast. So now if we check out our folders, now we have React GA. So let's go into it. And you can see we have, for at least for my terminal, I have it set so when I'm in a folder that's a Git repository, it shows me what branch I'm on. So we're in the master branch. I think that's the only branch. I'm going to check though. Yep, master branch is the only branch. What we want to do is make another branch. Normally, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have a ton of experience with this, but normally you don't want to push changes on a master branch, right? You want to create another branch and then submit that as your pull request. I just saw there's some activity in the live chat. I'm just going to check back really quick. I'm going to try to keep up with the live chat today since yesterday I ran out of time and I didn't get to everyone's questions, and I really feel bad about that because I like to be able to address, you know, all the questions. Okay, Zanalo is asking about the React course. Said $400 US or something, right? The React Nano degree. Yeah, I think it was 500. So it's not cheap. I think, as I said yesterday, I've said in the past before, like I have never spent more than $30 like total in the last however many years I've been doing this on educational stuff for, you know, for learning how to be a developer. Because there's so many great free resources. But I really want to get better with React. There's a lot of projects that I know I'm going to be working on coming up within the next year that I'm going to use React for. So I decided I'm just going to go for it, and then the fact that I've spent $500 on it is going to keep me, it's going to make me more dedicated, I guess, right? So whenever I feel like, oh, I'm not going to do the work, I'm going to put it off, I'm too busy, I'll think in the back of my mind, like, dude, you spent $500 on this, you better not waste it. So it's kind of like motivation for me. All right, so let's go back to here. So we're going to make a branch, git branch, and I'm trying to think what I should name the branch. I'm going to say fix outbound link. Does that sound all right? If anybody thinks for some reason that the name for that branch is not good at all, let me know. I can just make a new branch. But I think that basically explains it. So now I'm going to open this in Atom. And this is totally unrehearsed. So if you've watched before, you know that it's unrehearsed because I mess up quite a bit. But if I rehearsed it beforehand and I still messed up this much, that would be kind of sad. But if you're just watching for the first time, this is all unrehearsed. So so this is the first time I'm looking through this code. I checked that out a little bit on GitHub, but basically we're going to be working, I guess, in this folder. Test components utils. Yeah, the only thing I'm not sure about is what the test folder is, because I'm no good. I don't know what they're using for testing. This might be the biggest problem here, is writing tests So, oh, we'll see. If anybody recognizes what's going on here and can help me out, I would appreciate that. But otherwise, let's just go to it. Let's make our component, our new component, and we got to figure out what to call it. So maybe it's definitely it's an outbound. It's outbound link, but we're opening it in new window. I kind of want to call this component outbound link new window. I think that's too long, but I don't know. I remember reading something or seeing a video somewhere where some of the component names that were used for Facebook, for building Facebook, actually were really long. So I guess it's not terrible to do that. So let's do that. We'll call it outbound link new window. So where's my, sorry, I gotta find my terminal here. Touch component. Oh no, source component, and I'm gonna call this outbound. I want to make sure, yeah, they are capitalizing that. Outbound link new window. .js. Okay, cool. So now we've made that. Let's go in here. I can get rid of these welcome screens. I am going to take my code from here that I showed you a few minutes ago, and I'm going to pull it onto my other screen so that I can just pull the code over. So first thing I'm going to do is just, I guess I can copy and paste all of it because we're not really changing much. So I don't know if I really ought to leave this in or not, but I'll leave that up to the maintainers of the repo, so that I just always like to give credit to where I get the ideas from. So all we need to change is, I believe, this name here, right? I think that's the only place we're using it. Yeah, so that's it. Outlink new window. Outlink new window. Okay, great. So that's it. That's all we need to change. I'm going to save that, and now let's go back and commit this change. Yep. All right. So add. We're just going to add that, and our commit message is going to be add Here we go. All right, so now we need to push this. So we're gonna go git push origin, and what do we call this? Oh no, I made the change on master. I'm gonna look at the live chat, and I'm sure you all have already caught that and have. Yeah, you guys caught me. Oh man, how long ago? Wow, yeah, it was like 5 minutes ago. At least you all caught me. All right, so shoot. Actually, before I mess it up further, I'm gonna ask. There's either two things I could do. One, could I haven't committed this change yet. Can I just remove what I added and not commit it at all? Would that be the best way to do it? Or does it even matter what I do to master? When I go to submit the pull request, I can just submit the one branch, right? Like, I could just do this, go ahead with my commit, copy it over to the other branch, and then only submit that branch, correct? Let me see. If I were to okay, so for everyone watching this later on, I was just waiting for responses in the live chat here. So create the branch from there, but before, just delete the old one. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just commit these changes, create a new branch, delete the old branch, or flip that order, but basically, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Oh wait, and I did. For some reason, I thought I didn't actually commit it yet, but I did. So sorry. I'm sure you all were thinking like that I was crazy, but all right. So actually, what's the command for delete branch? It's just D. I can do just -D. Okay, cool. I haven't had to delete a branch in so long. I don't even remember. What did we call that one? Fix. Okay. Now, just make a new branch. Cool. Just to double check. All right, we switched there. All this is on the branch. Okay, we're good. All right, so now let's push that. Git push origin fix outbound link. Okay, cool. So now if we look at our repo, we should have another branch. Cool. So we have this branch, and actually, let me pull up. Let me pull up GitHub's instructions for submitting a pull request, because I do want to show you the right way to do this. So instead of me fumbling around with it, I mean, it's not that hard. You could probably figure it out, but let's just do it the way described in the GitHub help pages. So, all right, so let's go to the original repository. We're going to go to new pull request. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for y'all, especially if someone's on like a low res screen or a small screen. It might be hard. So we went back to the original repo, React.ga. We're going to go new pull request. And let's go compare changes. So we have the base. Let's compare, actually. Can also, yeah, we need to compare across forks. That's what we need. Okay, so let's take what I did and we'll go to the fix outbound link, and then we're going to compare it to the master, right? Yeah. Oops, should I switch this? Do I need a different order? Why is it telling me this? Oh, okay. I think possibly I just mixed up the order. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat. Master, that's what we need. Now let's compare. There we go. That's it. Okay, so. Oh, you know what I totally forgot? The whole testing thing. Totally forgot that. I'm gonna check really quick and see if they say something in the documentation about pull requests. Oh no, that was just a link to the issues. Just thought it would be a link to the bottom. It's possible that they have. Yeah, they do. Okay. I should have looked for this first. Oh well. Alright, so we need to test. Alright, I have Gulp installed, so that's not a problem. Need to run a test. Okay, so the dist file should not be committed until the review has been merged. Okay. Alright, so if you're following along in the repo, we're down at the bottom here. Otherwise, you can just check it out on your screen. So these are just some instructions for how to do the test. The only thing that's confusing me is it's saying not to commit the dist files. Okay, that makes more sense. I guess I didn't read that carefully enough. Alright, so we got to be careful not to commit the dist files. But otherwise, it seems like all we'll need to do, at least at first here, is basically just this part. And we don't have to worry about complete code review. Yeah, we don't have to worry about anything basically past this, because we need to wait to hear back. Okay, that makes sense. If I'm understanding this incorrectly, let me know in the live chat. But otherwise, we'll just do the tests. Hopefully everything works out. As I said before, the style is different, so I'm not sure, if they want it to be of a particular style, then that might be an issue. Alright, so let's see. If I run npm test, this should work. Because like I said, I think I already have Gulp installed globally. Let's go. Oops, I never ran npm install. Alright, so since this is live, I can't go back and edit this. But what I should have done is, as soon as I pulled the repo down, I should have done an npm install. So I don't think it'll matter much for what we did, since we just completely added a new component, so that should be fine. We'll check out the package JSON just to make sure there wasn't some sort of like hook, commit hook that would have done something. But otherwise, I think this will be all right. Yeah, in the live chat, we had a comment. It's or yarn install. Yeah, normally I do use yarn. I didn't want to use it for this project because it said use npm, so I just decided to just go with what they were doing. Let's see, errors. Okay, so it's saying possibly I don't have the latest versions of Node and npm installed. Well, that's no good. Alright, does it give a version? It doesn't really give a version number. I wish there was. Maybe up here it'll say npm version 2.2.0. Alright, well let's see what version. No, alright, that's not the npm version. That's the version of this. Alright. So what I'm running 7.3.0 and npm 4.1.2. So I guess I'm gonna have to update. So bonus for this video, if you've never updated these things, we're gonna do it. So let's actually, I'm gonna update npm first and then see if that works, and then I won't have to update Node as well. So should be able to update npm like this. Npm install not sure how long this will take. So while that's loading, I'm going to catch up in the live chat. Alright, still have a decent amount of viewers. I hadn't looked at the analytics of this video in a while, and I thought, man, I've messed up so many things. Everybody is going to be gone. Alright, wow, that was super fast. Let's see. I'm just checking to make sure there wasn't anything weird. Looks like everything worked. And so let me just run npm install again. Maybe it'll work this time. Nope. Alright, let's see. Whoa, okay. Alright, I'm just trying to read through some of this. make it bigger. Okay. I'm going to make this bigger so you all can see, since there's a lot of text here. Okay. Probably should update Node anyway, since I haven't updated it in a while. It's looking like now I'm not so sure it's a problem with my versions. I'm going to go back to the live chat, see if anybody has some ideas here. So there's a question here. I'm just going to answer it so I don't forget later. Do I plan on doing any React Native live coding? Yes, I do. I just need to get a project where I'm going to be using it first. But hopefully I'll have an opportunity for that. Ahmed asks, are you a professional in this field? Yes, so I guess if by professional you define professional as someone who gets paid to do a certain thing, then yes, I'm a professional. If by professional you're implying like that I'm an expert, then probably no. But I have been doing this for like four years or so. Full time. So I am a front-end developer employed at a university. Brian says, good to know everyone has the same crappy problems no matter how advanced you are. I don't know how advanced I am, but yeah, I haven't had a problem like this in a while. I mean, if you don't count yesterday when things weren't updating right on the server, and I didn't really fix it. I just ran the same command again and it worked the second time. So I'm going to check out. It looks like we have Node. There's an issue already, issue 489 for Node. So I'm going to look it up. I'll just look it up on my other screen and pull it over if we want to look at it. Aim High says, I just got my first developer job starting on the 3rd of July. Awesome. All right, so yeah, I remember, was it probably 2 weeks ago or so? You were in the live chat. So this is Aim High in the live chat talking about looking for jobs and things. And I remember I had asked for updates to keep us updated. So thank you so much for keeping us updated. That's really awesome. I'm super happy for you. So hopefully it goes all right. And you know, if I don't know what your schedule will be at your new job, but if you can join in for some of the live chats, that would be awesome. And if you need any help or advice with anything, you know, feel free to message me on Twitter. I'll help with anything I can. Yeah, Aim High says really excited but very nervous. I understand the nervousness. You'll get, just the more you work, you'll get over the nervousness, but you'll have that at first. But you know, just be confident in your skills, and just keep working on it. And that's it'll be. I think you'll be great. All right, so let's see. Sorry, I got distracted from looking up this issue, but it was big news, so it's worth the distraction. So what was that issue? 489. Okay. Okay, so I'll pull this over so everyone can see. So this is the issue. So let me scroll down a bit, see if this looks like what we're getting. Yeah, it's not, it doesn't look exactly like what we're getting, but I think it's worth checking out. Oh, okay. Well, Xcode select install. All right. Wow, this is back in 2014. Let me scroll down because I suspect some of the really old answers may not work. So this one was only 28 days ago. I just saw Ahmed asked in the live chat, should I go for iOS instead of Android? I don't know. I don't develop apps for phones right now, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. But if I were going to go into developing apps based on what I know right now, I would learn React Native, and I would that would probably make it easier to develop for both. So that's my opinion on there, but I'm sure someone who actually develops apps would probably be able to give you a better answer. So don't put a lot of trust in my answer there, because I'm not knowledgeable about the job outlook and salaries for like iOS versus Android developers. All right, let's see. All right, cool. I like this idea. Run npm install g npm latest node gyp. Let's try that. I'm going to try this because it looks really easy, and if it works, then great. If not, it doesn't look like this will break anything. Okay, cool, doing something. Emerson asks, what course is better, computer science or information systems? Again, I don't know that I could give you a great answer for this. I think it does depend on what you want to do. So, sorry, I wasn't laughing at your question, Emerson. I was laughing at another comment there. So, yeah, it depends on what you want to do. If you want probably like something that would just be more broadly applicable, then I guess computer science would be better. I briefly majored in computer information systems for like one semester. when I was getting my undergrad. And then I changed and majored in something else, in economics and finance, because I could graduate faster like that. So when I was in college, I was just worried about getting out of college as fast as I could with a degree. So no, don't really recommend it, but it is the cheaper way to go, because if you can graduate early, you don't have to pay for more school. All right, so let's try this again. See if it works. So actually, in the chat, so basically, so XD in the chat, which, I mean, I know that that's not how you're going to pronounce it, but just to be able to say it in the live chat, saying you had the same issue. Is this you that had this issue here, or that wrote this here? I can't tell, because your picture on the live chat, at least on my screen, is like super tiny. So let me try to zoom in and see. I can't really tell, but okay, cool. I thought, because the hair looked the same, so I could definitely make out the hair. All right. Cool. Sorry I didn't pick up on that sooner, but no. Did it happen again? All right. What just happened here? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep working on this, and I'm going to try to fix it, and I'm going to keep the live chat going, or the live stream going. But in case you don't have time to stick around for to figure this out, then I'm just going to show you. Where would I have the pull request? I'm just going to show you basically what the next step would be if you wanted to submit the pull request. And where do I have? Over here. Okay, so assuming that you got everything to work and you wanted to submit the request. So we're comparing it to the master branch of the original repo. We have, over here we have our branch that we made the changes on. And for our request, you want to describe what's going on here. So I would describe in as much detail as I could what's happening. I could reference issues. So in this case, I'm probably going to reference all the issues. So I think there were 3 issues I found that dealt with the same problem. So I'd reference those. And I might even mention that user that I got some of these ideas from. I can't remember the name, but the user I showed at the beginning. And then you would create the pull request. And that's pretty much it. Once you hit, and correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but once you do that, you hit create pull request, then you just wait and see what the maintainers are going to say. Sometimes there are automated tests that happen, so you might get immediate feedback if they have an automated test set up. In that case, like, maybe it runs the test and it tells you you don't pass the test, then maybe you could, try to fix it then and resubmit. But basically, that's it. That would be the next step. So if you were just here for that and you can't stick around, then thank you for watching, and join me again sometime. Otherwise, we're going to try to fix this unrelated problem that just came up. Sometimes the unrelated problems are fun, though, to fix. So let's pull this back on the screen, and we'll pull this. I want to read some of the other things that happened, just to see. NPM histology. Okay, this person said they had to downgrade Node, so maybe my Node version is not out of date. Maybe it's too new. See that? I don't really know how I can tell. This person restarted their computer and it worked. I wonder if the Xcode. I guess I could try the Xcode thing. Oh, Patrick says, "Are you using NVM?" Shoot, I don't remember. It's been so long since I upgraded Node. I can't remember what I used to upgrade it last time, but I think I did. I either used NVM or one of the similar things that NVM does. In case you're not familiar with NVM, it's a way to manage your Node versions, upgrade versions, and I think NVM's the one that you can have different versions running for different projects. So try that npm I g no. All right, let's try. I just saw XD's comment to try this. npm I g no. Okay. Worth a try. Okay, well, it did something. It added and removed some packages, so let's see. How am I having? Alright, so it is changing package JSON. Kinda, I didn't want to change package JSON, but oh well. That's not what I wanted. I wanted npm install. Run this again and see. Okay, Ahmed is saying, what's the speaker's name? For let me try to go back up. Okay, are you talking about the one that does the math stuff? So I know for freeCodeCamp's YouTube, okay. If you're talking about the tutorial videos for a lot of JavaScript stuff, Bo does those on freeCodeCamp. We do have some other stuff. Oh, okay, he is talking about me. I couldn't figure out if you're talking about Bo or me. I'm Jesse. So, yeah, so I don't do a lot of tutorial stuff, at least for freeCodeCamp. I am planning on doing some on my own channel, but Bo already does such a great job with tutorials. I can't compete with that. But what I can do is do some stuff live and sometimes make a fool of myself so that hopefully you all learn something. And I get a lot from you all when I'm working on projects. So so that's why the show today is kind of a mess. We're having problems, but that's the whole point, is to work through like normal issues that come up as you're doing your everyday work. And did this work? I wasn't looking. I was looking at the live chat, and I think this actually just worked. Oh, okay. It says can't find you with @Jesse. Wait, where are you trying to find me with @? Sorry, anyway, Ahmed's in the live chat's asking, can't find you with @Jesse. Where I just want to know, where are you trying to find me at with that? If it's in, like, within the live chat, I'm at freeCodeCamp right now. So I'm not logged in with my account right now. In the comments to the videos, I use my account, but in the chat, I'm freeCodeCamp. All right, so it looks like this worked, which is awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run the tests. Hopefully that works better than everything else so far. I'm gonna run the tests, and let me know if you think this is a good idea or not. But I don't really want to commit the changes made to package.json. So I'm not going to commit those. I think that would be better, because I'm not trying to change something like that big to their project. I just want my change to be that one thing added, that one component. So so that's the plan. Let me know in the live chat if you think I should do something else. Yeah, so in case you missed it, the command that actually fixed this, I mean, assuming the other commands I did before that didn't help, which who knows, I can't really tell at this point. The command that actually fixed it was this one, the one that I'm highlighting here. npm i-g node -gyp. So that fixed it. So if you're having a similar problem, try that. All right, now we're gonna run. I don't even remember what the command was now. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll down. npm test. Okay. Let's run npm test. Okay, I'm only failing one. Not bad. But actually, here's the thing. I didn't write any tests for my component, so of course I should be passing these tests. I'm actually surprised that I failed one, because I didn't do anything to this. So why would that be failing? Cannot find module JS on. But at least I can see. So what are they using? Mocha. So we're using Mocha for testing. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I have two options here. Well, I'm gonna, like, just for a second ignore the fact that it's actually failing a test, and this is not me that's failing the test. I didn't change anything in that component. So so for some reason, the master branch of this repository is actually failing a test. So I don't know how I'm gonna be able to submit this request without failing something. But my other options are this. I just submit it without writing tests for that new component, or I try to learn Mocha in like 5 minutes and I try to submit something. Your feedback is greatly appreciated on this. Here's what I'm thinking. I kind of just want to take a chance and submit this request without writing the test, because it's such a simple pull request, and the component is really small. I don't know that I recommend doing that on projects. I mean, normally you want to follow everything, but just because of the fact that I've never written tests for Mocha before, this is turning into a lot bigger of a project than I really wanted it to be. Okay, cool. So Sebastian says, just submit it. You're making a new component, not editing one. So, okay, cool. I still, even if I submit it, I'm still a little bit worried about that I'm gonna fail just because of this failing test. I actually want to check that component out in the test quickly. Yeah, I can't. The odds of me actually writing good tests for this are so low at this point. I'm not even like I'm like barely following these already written tests. So I think I'm just gonna submit it and then see what the maintainers say. Maybe they'll give me some useful feedback and I can make some changes. Or maybe somebody else will see the pull request and somebody who's good with with Mocha and can write that. But at the very least, the pull request will be there. It'll be visible to other people, and it could be helpful to somebody else possibly. So I don't even know if I should commit any of this stuff because we haven't actually changed anything except the package JSON. Actually, let me look. I do want to look at this again to see what the build. There we go. Gulp build. I don't think the build really matters at this point because I'm not supposed to commit stuff from dist anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead with the pull request. And I'm going to check the live chat really quick to see what you all think. Vanch is begging for subscribers, so saying subscribe me please, subscribe me please. I'll check out your channel and maybe I'll subscribe from my personal account. I'm not gonna subscribe from freeCodeCamp, but I'll check it out. All right, James says tests are necessary. James says earlier, I think that if you feel that you need a test, then it is valid to spend the time. Maybe they can help you with the error. XD says maybe they can help you with the error. Alright, yeah. Timo says you could probably copy the tests from a different component and adapt them, right? Yeah, maybe I could. It seems like I had some suggestion. So basically, based on what's in the live chat now, I have some suggestions that say just submit the request as is. Some saying write the tests, and some saying maybe like submit but ask for help from the maintainers. Let's see how long. Okay, since this stream has been going on for an hour and 10 minutes at this point, what I'm going to do is submit and see what the maintainers say. If they want to merge it, then great. Wonderful, it'll get merged. Otherwise, if they say I need the tests, then what I'll do is at some point, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point in the next week or two, I'll do a live stream on tests. So I'll have to learn how to write the tests before then, but it's probably worthwhile for me to learn that anyway. So what I'll do is, if I need the tests, I'll learn how to do it, and then I'll write them live on a stream. That would be kind of cool to stream anyway. I've never done a stream on writing tests. So I think that's the plan. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay. All right. It seems like few people in the live chat are saying that sounds good. All right. Cool. So I think that's the plan. I'm going to submit this now. I just need to type. Add component for tracking an outbound link and opening. I don't want window to be cut off. I want this all to be in one line. And opening in new. Let's see if this is enough. Nice. Okay, so that fits. All right. I'll just describe a little bit. So, actually, I need to find these. Let me go to these issues really quick. So they were all like right on top, so that it shouldn't be too hard to find these 3 issues. Alright, so that was this one, the outbound link one, and then this one, and I think this one also references another one. So I think it was these 3. So we have 91, 71, and 115. Issues. Let's see. Alright, that's good. 115. If I just do hashtag, nice. What was this one? What did I say? 91 and 71, 91. Okay. 71, yep, and 91. Alright, I'm going to read this back. I recommend reading back things that you write if you don't want to mess up, so that helps me. So, in regard to issues whatever. I created a component that successfully tracks a click on an outbound link and opens that link in a new window or tab. All right, that sounds good. I'm just going to make a little bit a note about the testing, just to let them know what was going on there. Test in Mocha, so I didn't write any for this new component. If this is necessary, I'm willing to learn how to write them and submit another request. All right. So how's that look for everyone watching now? I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Is there any other information that probably should be in here, or are we good? Maybe I should include the link to this video. Say, for more information, watch how we did this. Okay, cool. I see. Timo actually had said just that, to mention the tests in the description. So awesome. James says you could use Grammarly and instead of reading that out. So yeah, actually, I've never used that before, but that's probably a good idea. Maybe I'll do us actually. All right, Timo says looks good. I kind of do want to include the link to this video now that I think about it, because it may have some information that would be useful to the maintainers. I mean, potentially, I don't know. What do you think? I got to see how to. I don't know if there'll be a link ready to use until this video. I guess it would be, the link would work. I'm assuming it's the same link when this video actually gets turned into like a recording after I finish it. So I'll do that. Let's see. Let's see. Actually, they need to. Oops. Just want to make sure. No, that didn't work. Oh, okay. Actually, maybe I should just keep the URL here. Okay, cool. All right, that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and allow edits for maintainers. If you uncheck this box, then the maintainers don't have access to edit your stuff, like your part of the code. In some cases, maybe you don't want that, but in this case, I'm fine with that. Like maybe they want to go in and write the tests or something. I don't know, but that's fine with me. I mean, this React GA has helped me in my project, so I just think it'd be cool if I could help, improve React GA just, a bit, and help them out and help everybody out that uses this. So, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and submit this. Okay, Ahmed did say, please script the video. They may not have time to go through the entire length. Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about doing this before. There's so much. Some of the videos are really long, so it is hard. I would love to be able to go in and at least put like a little table of contents in where people could skip ahead to parts of the videos, but I just haven't had time to do it. That's probably going to take a long time. I mean, I think I've done almost 30 videos just for freeCodeCamp, and I did live streams before that on my own channel. So that's a lot of content to go through. So I think it's a good idea. I just don't have time right now to do that. Also, it's really weird to hear myself do these videos, so I kind of don't like to watch my own videos. But at some point, maybe I'll try to go back and do them on maybe some of the videos that get the most traffic. It would be worthwhile to do that for. All right, so now they do have an automated system for checking, so no conflicts. Obviously, we anticipated that, so we didn't change anything that was existing. So I don't know how long this check will take. It'd be cool to find out what happens while I'm still doing the stream. So I'm gonna go in at this point. If you haven't watched the show before, at the end, if I have time, I try to go through all the live stream questions and answer all your questions. So I'm gonna go through quickly. I have been keeping a pretty good track of what's going on in the live chat, so hopefully I didn't miss too many things, but I'm going to go through and do that. So if you were just here for the actual, work part of this, then thanks for watching, and please join in again for another show if you can. Otherwise, stick around. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the live chat now. If you can't stick around for the answer, put them in the comments, or you can direct message me on Twitter. The link to my Twitter account is in the description below. Actually, it looks like I won't be able to get all the way back up to the top of the live chat, so it only saves so many messages, so it did cut off. So sorry if your message was like really up high, then I won't get to it. Usually that doesn't happen. There's only a few times have I had that happen, that there's so much going on in the live chat that it cuts off. So sorry for that. I didn't anticipate that happening. Let's see. Ahmed asked, do you know any Android live streams? I don't know any Android live streams, so I'm sorry about that. If anybody that's watching this later on knows of any Android live streams, please put it in the comments, and then maybe Ahmed will see that at some point. Looks like there was a lot of good discussion in the live chat, so I'm kind of just skipping through a lot of it. Ahmed asks, Do you think Android, Java, iOS are boring? I don't really know if I'd say like boring. For me, I just don't know a lot about it. I have not really a lot of exposure to Java, and pretty much none at all for developing for iOS. I did actually once I did pay for and started a course on developing for iOS, but I couldn't get it to work. Basically, the course wanted you to install some stuff to be. I had a Windows computer at the time. I didn't have a Mac, so I couldn't get it to work so that I could develop it on my Windows computer. And it came down to like my CPU. Like only certain CPUs can handle that. So anyway, so I got a refund for the course. But other than the very small exposure I had then, I don't really know. So I can't really comment on it. Whether or not I think it's boring or not, because I just haven't worked with it. I once went to a class where we worked on a game in Java, and I mean it was fun. Uh, Jahin, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Jahhein. Says, why not use Homebrew to keep this stuff updated? Yeah, Homebrew. If you're on a Mac, Homebrew is kind of like a package manager type of thing. Homebrew is cool. I do have some stuff installed with Homebrew. I kind of think that I didn't originally install Node or anything with Homebrew, so that's why I'm not using it. But normally, yeah, with Homebrew, it does make it a lot easier to keep things updated. Okay, I see now. XD had told me before I even asked. He told me the comment that was his from earlier in the show. So on the issues. So oh hey, I just checked. It looks like all checks have passed, which I mean that was kind of expected since we didn't write any new tests. So evidently the issue that we had with the code failing one of the tests, maybe that was just something, maybe the changes that we made in package JSON caused that somehow. So at least it got through here. So normally if a pull request doesn't pass the automated checks, usually it's like rejected automatically. So this is a good sign. It passed these, so one of the maintainers will probably look at it at some point. So now all we do is just wait. I'll definitely update you all on what happens. I mean, you could check out the repo and everything too, but so you don't have to keep track of it. I will update you whenever I get anything about it. So cool. I'm gonna keep going through the live chat here, and see, I'm not talking a lot about it because I've already kind of gone through a lot of this stuff while we were doing the video. Ahmed said, the moment you said it's going to take time, the number abruptly fell to 55 from 67. So he's talking about the number of viewers. So it looks like everybody dropped. Yeah, at some point I think I told everybody, like, you can drop out now if you're not interested in this. It's just going to take a while. And they did drop out, which is cool. I understand. Sometimes these videos go really long, and you just don't have the time. Not everybody has the time to watch. Okay, I'm going through. Yeah, it looks like I'm almost to the bottom of the live chat here. So a lot of the stuff was just responses to things earlier that I already read out for the most part. Okay, we had Suraj, Suraj, says you installed Gulp globally. Yeah, I did install it globally. Um, to be honest, I don't use Gulp as much as I used to anyway, but I think I already had it installed globally. I think I did. I'm not 100% sure. So that's why I just did it globally again. It's possible that I was mistaken and I didn't have it installed globally to begin with, but at one time I used Gulp for pretty much every project, so it made sense for me to install it globally. Um, Ahmed asks, "Are you on LinkedIn?" Yeah, I am on LinkedIn. So if you just look up Jesse Weigel on LinkedIn, I am there. I think I have a link to it. So in the description for this video, I have a link to my YouTube channel, and from my YouTube channel, I have links to my other social media channels. So I think the LinkedIn one is in there. If you find me on FreeCode or on LinkedIn, I don't know how many Jesse Weigels there are on LinkedIn, but it's JESSEWEIGEL. So maybe there might be a bunch of them. I'm the one that works at Franciscan University, and I'm a front-end developer. I don't think there are any other Jesse Weigels that are front-end developers on LinkedIn right now. Wizzy17 asks, what language are you using to code? Just this is mainly JavaScript, but it's React. So it might look a little bit different, especially the HTML portion of it. But it's basically just JavaScript. Okay, I had a request to show the oh, I guess that's it. I guess just one check. It wanted to show the details, but I don't. Unless there's, oh yeah, details. There we go. I don't know why I didn't see that. All right, so let's check out details. I'm not sure, Siraj, what you were looking for, but I mean, you could check this out too. But it looks like, yeah, actually, I want to see. Yeah, everything passed. So we didn't, that failing thing in outbound link didn't come up again. So. Okay, cool. Ahmed says, mobile devices and apps are the new era. Myntra from India shut down their website and continued business only using a mobile app. That's cool. I mean, that's interesting. I don't think the web is going anywhere right now because it's huge. I mean, who knows? Like, in time, maybe. But so I mean, at least at this point, the web is here. Like, it's pretty steady. But I mean, who knows? Things change, so it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the future. I've also heard people say that apps are going to not be a thing anymore because people just make progressive web apps that run just as well on, in a browser or on a phone, everything. So maybe that'll be a thing at some point. I mean, it already is a thing now, but maybe it'll be a reality to where those apps can actually run just as well. So I don't know what's going to happen, but for now, I think, well, as I said before, if you're trying to choose between web development or developing for apps or anything, I would learn React Native, and then you can develop for lots of different things and not have to learn quite as much as if you wanted to develop for all those things but wanted to do it, in Swift and in Java and in in JavaScript or whatever other even back-end languages you would need to know. So that's my opinion on it. I'm not saying there are probably other opinions that have good points as well. James says, I have a game we built in C# or C++. It's been a long time. It was a nuclear war game. That sounds cool. I'd love to build more games in like JavaScript and stuff if I had time. I think it would just be fun, and my kids would probably like it. It would help my kids to be more interested in what I do. XD says you can do apps using React Native. Ahmed says, good suggestion. Would you help me for this? All right, cool. So XD is actually coding React Native now. Yeah, I'm not doing React Native yet, but like I mentioned before at the very beginning, so if you weren't here for the beginning, you might have missed it. I just signed up and just started today the React course, the new React Nano Degree course from Udacity. And part of that, at the end of the course, I will be making an app with React Native that according to the course description, it will run on Android and iOS. So when I get to that point, I will be able to provide help. But at this point, I probably won't be very helpful for that. Ahmed says they want to connect on LinkedIn too. Yeah, if anybody wants to connect with me on any of the social media channels, like I'm cool with that. I'll friend you or add you or whatever. If you prefer one channel over another, I'm cool with that. I'm on everything. I'm not really active on everything, but I'll keep up with like direct messages and things like that. No, Ahmed said I was never trying to be rude by talking about the mobile area. You're doing a great job. Yeah, Ahmed, I didn't take it as being rude. So I mean, it's totally cool. Yeah, in general, like I don't really get upset with anything anybody says in this chat. I mean, even at one point early on, I had somebody in here like getting really angry that I was using jQuery. So, but I'm cool with it. I'm cool with. I always expect way more criticism than I really get. Everybody's been really positive, and I know that there are people that are way better than me, and I do make a lot of mistakes. So you all are way nicer than I probably deserve. So don't feel bad if you have some harsh criticism for me. I mean, it's always cool if you can say it nicely, but even if you can't, like, I'm okay with that. Wizzy says, I'm new and learning to code, and I started with Python. What do you guys think I should learn next? Wizzy, it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to do web stuff, then you'll need to learn JavaScript. If you want to do like, I don't know, like machine learning stuff, then from what I understand, Python is okay. Or like big data, like you could probably stick with Python and just get deeper into that. So it's really up to what you want to do. But you can do a lot with JavaScript nowadays. So it's probably a safe thing to learn just in terms of being able to get a job, if you know JavaScript, you open yourself up to a wide range of jobs. I don't want to say like more than any other language, but it's probably one of the top programming languages, just in terms of jobs available. Bird Person asks, do you use Docker for Node.js app? I have used Docker in the past. I don't know it well enough to be comfortable with it for using it for like things that I'm actually making for clients or for work. But I would like to use it more. I just haven't taken the time to learn it. So if you know of any good resources for learning Docker, that's cool. I did a Pluralsight course on Docker before, but yeah, I'd definitely like to learn more about it. Umberto says your phone started going off right when I got a text from my wife. Yeah, it did. It was actually my wife just called, and normally I would answer, but I think I'm going to end the stream here in just a minute, so I'm just going to call her back. I know she told me earlier that I have to be home by 6, so I definitely have time. It's only 3:42 here in my time zone, so I'm not sure what she wanted. Ahmed said, Jesse, I'm relieved you're being positive and sorry about that someone. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really upset. I don't even remember who the person was that was getting on me about jQuery, and I was cool with it too. Like, I'm trying to get away from using jQuery as much. The only thing I don't like is if people are getting on each other during the chat. But if you want to say something to me, I'm cool with that. But I kind of like to keep it the live chat and the comments and everything. I like to keep it a place where people can ask questions and not be afraid that somebody's going to respond with something snarky or mean or something like that. So yeah, that's the only thing that I really get upset about and don't like. James says, I read an article said that programming is the new learning for kids. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I've read some stuff about that too, and education is not usually known for being like on top of things and ahead of the game and really fast. At least like especially higher education is super slow. But I'm surprised that there aren't more schools that are requiring programming. Like I know, at least in the United States, a lot of schools require to be able to graduate, let's say, from high school, you have to have so many courses in a foreign language. But realistically, in the United States, if you know English, you're fine. You'll probably never have to know another language. Now, I know in certain places in the United States, Spanish is also spoken a lot, but you can get everything that you need to do, unless you really want to work in a certain area or a certain industry. Like, you can get away with English. So I'm wondering, like, would it not be more useful to more people if we included programming languages under languages or something like that? I mean, I just think that we require students to learn things that are way less useful than programming. And a lot of these curriculums were made, years and years ago, and we've been teaching the same basic concepts for so long that it doesn't take into account what's going on today and what jobs are available today and what the needs are for employees. So anyway, sorry for that little for me getting on my soapbox there, but anyway, I think kids, even in young kids, should be introduced into basic programming concepts early on. Tom asks, how important is algorithm scripting? I would say, like, for your day-to-day work, like for me and my day-to-day work, I rarely ever need to do stuff with algorithms. I mean, occasionally I do, but if I was looking for a job, I would be doing algorithms every day and practicing, because you'll probably have to do an algorithm for your interviews. So there are probably some jobs where algorithms come into play way more often. So it might just depend on what kind of job you want. Rich asks, do you work for Free Code Camp or do you volunteer? I just volunteer. I don't get anything for this. I don't get any payment. I don't run ads on my personal YouTube channel or anything. So yeah, I don't get anything for this. Ahmed says, yes, he just talked to her. You know, that's why I'm not going to get married. Yeah, he was referring to my wife calling. Actually, I should check and see if she texted me. It looks like she did text. Okay, she said, so she told me I needed to be home by 6, but if she saw me earlier at home, then she would feed me dinner. So it seems like that's all she wanted, which that's nice. It's good to eat. I probably will try to get home before 6 because I do have a lot of work to do, but as you know, I'm definitely into overtime territory, so I need to try to leave early at least sometimes to make that up. Wizzy says, in response to Rich's question, I'm sorry, it says, any sites that give projects to work on, like a few easy things so I can get the hang of coding. I don't know. I guess I didn't see. Oh, okay. Rich had a question earlier that I didn't see, and it said, learn more from working on your own projects and just following a guide. Okay, so I guess I missed a little conversation here about whether it's better to work on a project or follow guides. In general, you do learn more from working on a project, but if you're just starting out in something, sometimes you need the guide first, and then you can know enough to do the project. So it kind of just depends on your level of expertise. At least, yeah, that's been my experience with it. And Rich says, think of something yourself in terms of projects. If it's something you're interested in, it's a bit easier to stick with. So, like, think of a problem you may face and see if you can solve it. I think that's great advice. Yeah, find something that you are interested in. You're way more likely to stick with it. So definitely really good advice, Rich. Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that. My stomach just growled. It was just making noise. So I apologize for that if that sounded weird on the on the stream there. Actually, I haven't really eaten anything today. I just have like these weight gain like shakes. So basically, you can drink it, but it's a ton of calories, and then that way I can just keep working and drink this stuff, and I get in my calories. So I'm always looking for little ways to be more efficient and get in more coding. So I haven't eaten any solid food yet today. All right, so Rich says, was just curious. This is, I guess, in response to, so he had asked if I worked for Free Code Camp or I was a volunteer. And I said, no, I'm a volunteer. So he said, you are a full-time dev, though. How much work would you say you do outside of the office if you don't just work at home? Yeah, so it depends. So I am a full-time dev. I do work in an office. But occasionally I have clients on the side that I do work for. And so it just depends on if I have a client and what the client is. So I do have some steady clients that I do really minor work for, like every month. And I wouldn't even call it programming work. It's really like uploading blog posts to WordPress. I don't really like to do that work, but it's more like, it's almost like a favor. It's like some local nonprofits that I do things for. One of the nonprofits my great aunt is on the board for, so it's kind of a favor to her. And the other one is like a family friend runs this nonprofit. So I charge them like a really, really low rate compared to what I would charge like a real company, and I do the work. So it's just really basic stuff. Occasionally, I do get a client that I do like a legit site for, and then sometimes I work a lot outside. So there have been times when I would put in like an extra 30 or 40 hours a week on top of my normal full-time job to get a site launched for a client. Now that's only probably a few weeks out of the year that I would work like that, and I don't like to work like that if I can avoid it. But it just varies. Gaurav asks, what's the best JavaScript framework to start with? Honestly, here's what this is gonna be unpopular, but I'll give two answers. I'm going to say what the easiest one to start with is, and then I'll say what the best one to start with. So, I mean, assuming that you've already learned some just regular JavaScript, which would be good to start with, I would say the best framework, in my opinion, to learn would be React, simply because there are so many React jobs available now. It seems to be in really high demand. I found React to be easier to pick up than Angular was. I tried and failed at Angular back when it was Angular version 1. So I don't know about the newer versions. Maybe it's easier, but I had trouble with it at first. So I would say React. If you want to know the easiest framework to use, then it's jQuery. And don't everybody hate me for that. But realistically, there's still a lot of jobs out there and a lot of places that use jQuery. So it seems like it's not popular to use among devs, but among actual websites that are out there, it's very prevalent. So those sites still need people to work on them. So if you're looking for something to get into that's easy to understand, then, I mean, people should know some jQuery. It's not that hard to pick up, but if you're taking on clients, like random clients and businesses, like you're going to have to do something with jQuery at some point. So you may as well, I guess, learn that at first. Just don't use it for everything. Try to learn how to do it the regular JavaScript way. Try to learn how to do it in React. Or if you want to go with Angular, try to do it in that. So it's easy to just kind of use jQuery as a crutch for everything. And then when you have to do something without it, it's really hard. Ahmed says, I wrote a blog on using Git. It's on LinkedIn. Please comment on it once you connect with me. So, yeah, I definitely will, Ahmed. And if anybody else, check out Ahmed's blog on LinkedIn. It's about using Git. So if you need some help using Git, check that out. Wizzy said, I guess your stomach wants to reach home before 6/2. Yeah, it's Ahmed says, I was once like you, not eating food, but having fun coding, only to realize after 7 years that it's an unending story. Yeah, it's true. Like, I probably should eat more. Like, at one point, I lost so much weight because I was just coding and not eating that my clothes didn't fit anymore. I had to buy new clothes. So I actually used an app. I used MyFitnessPal to track my calories so I remembered to eat. And then I did gain some weight, but now I didn't. I got a new phone and I never installed that app again. So now I'm back down to not fitting in my clothes anymore. Rich says, thanks for answering. I ask as I see another FCC video, FCC being Free Code Camp, a day at Amazon. It seemed he worked at home a lot as well as in the office. Yeah, I do some work at home, like for this job at the university. That's my normal full-time job. I do work from home sometimes. I'm not like I'm supposed to work here in the office full time, right? So, but if I don't feel well, I work from home, just to like not get anybody else sick in my office. So that's when I can work from home. I would like to be allowed to do more work from home. So that's something I'm probably going to negotiate. Possibly, I'm possibly thinking like at some point, when it would be time that maybe I could negotiate to be able to work from home instead of like a bump up in salary. Like maybe if there's a time when financially it's just not possible for my department to give me a raise or anything, then that would be a good time to try to say like, hey, well, how about, I can do some remote work instead, which would be nice. I mean, I don't have to drive in to work. I don't have to spend time, getting dressed up and ready. I can just, sit at home, and do the work from there. So that's kind of my plan. I would like to do more work from home. Although it's kind of hard though if the kids are there. Sometimes it's distracting, but if the kids aren't home, I get a lot more work done at home than I do in the office. Because in the office, people could just walk by and talk to me about things. Like if I have to go stop somewhere, I always run into people on the way, and like every little errand at work takes way longer. Rudaki says, Jesse, what do you do to not forget the things you've learned? I've heard some devs use spaced repetition software like Anki. Is that common in the community? I read about Anki and I downloaded an app for it, and then I never used it. For me, to remember the things that I've learned, the best way for me is to keep using them in projects. So there's definitely something to be said. Like let's say that you're practicing for an interview and certain questions are going to be on there. Then using something like Anki would probably be beneficial. But otherwise, just doing the work will force you to remember it. You'll start remembering functions that you use constantly, syntax that you use constantly, or commands on, terminal commands that you use constantly. You'll remember it. At first you'll have to look it up, but at some point you won't have to look it up anymore and you'll remember it naturally. I like that way of doing things because you're actually getting work done while you're doing it. And to me that's kind of a more natural way. Like that's how babies pick things up. They don't learn with like flashcard, right? You don't do flashcards with a baby to teach them how to talk. They pick it up by hearing what you say and trying to mimic that. So to me, I think that's a much more natural way of doing things, and it works for me. But people have different methods of learning. So what works for me might not work, for you or for someone else. So, but I do think if you do have certain things that you will have to memorize and you need to know it quickly, then something like Anki, which is like a spaced repetition of the same knowledge, the same information, would be beneficial in that case. I just don't really ever have a case like that for what I do. If you were still in school, like that would definitely work for tests, though. Ahmed says, Jesse, man, so many hours after regular job. I should start drinking the energy drink you mentioned. Yeah. So here's my unofficial commercial for my energy drink that I don't get paid to sponsor or do anything at all, but I drink G Fuel. And I'm not a doctor, so don't take my word for it, but it's basically, if you've ever used 5-Hour Energy, it basically is the same stuff that's in 5-Hour Energy, except it's in powdered form. So it's cheaper, and you could get it shipped to you cheaper, and you mix it with water. So anyway, they market it to like professional gamers, but I find that it does help me out for my coding. So and I like it better. Like Red Bull and stuff, those energy drinks have a lot of sugar and things in them, and this doesn't have a ton of sugar in it. So it's better for you in that sense that it's not filled with sugar. If you do use G Fuel, I recommend getting one of the flavors that has some type of citrus in it. The stuff without citrus for me is just too sweet. You need that like little tanginess from the citrus to cut the sweetness. Justin says, I guess it depends on what your initial struggle with AngularJS was. A lot has changed. Now they're on version 4, but moved to an evergreen naming convention. Yeah, that's what I thought, Justin. I expect that there are two problems with my early experience with Angular. One, I just wasn't that good with JavaScript, period, at the time. Like, this was years ago when Angular was somewhat new, and I just didn't have the experience. If I tried to learn it again now, I'm sure I'd be way more successful. Also, Angular has come a long way since then as well. So my opinion on Angular is probably not that great. Like, don't trust it too much, because when I talk about Angular, I'm talking about Angular 1, and I'm talking about a version of me that was way less skilled at JavaScript. Justin says Pomodoro timer, man. Yeah, I do use Pomodoro timers. I got my Pomodoro timer up right now. I was just using it for work earlier. The problem is when I have that like 5-minute break between Pomodoro sessions, I usually check email and stuff, and so I don't get time to do anything else. Ahmed says, Jesse, please join a gym in that case. You can't stop eating and your clothes will fit. Yeah, I need to start working out again. I've been really busy with work and I've put that off. So I found like if I don't work out, my mental health just is really bad. So like not only physically but like mentally, I just get way more like depressed. Maybe that's why the guy that left earlier said I sounded bored. Maybe I just need to work out. Maybe I'm getting depressed. But yeah, it helps me mentally. I'm way more positive and upbeat. It actually makes it easier for me to figure out problems when I'm coding. So I know what I need to do. It's just a matter of doing it and having the willpower to do it. Ahmed's asking, for React, do you know some site to start with? I don't want to go through the videos now. Just some quality reads would make more sense. React, I'm trying to think. I think Codecademy has some React stuff, like intro to React tutorial stuff. It's not like just reading, it's like, you're doing the exercises, but that's like a good place to start. And then the React documentation itself is not really that hard to read through. Let's see. Umberto says, in terms of energy drinks, that he drinks some green tea thing. Forget what it's called though, but it is carbonated. Yeah, I've tried green tea before. I actually have green tea pills. So I found like they don't work that much. They don't give you that energy. So I have my brother-in-law. He does. He like sells tickets online for things, buys and sells them, and he does stuff in the stock market, and he uses green tea pills. They work for him, but for me, I haven't had that much luck with them. But I really do like to actually drink green tea just for pleasure and not for energy. James says, I wish I could gain weight. Actually, I was successful. I gained like 25 pounds. I know this has nothing to do with coding. Sorry to anybody that I'm getting off track here, but just for like 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how I managed to gain like 25 pounds in just like 2 or 3 months. So I downloaded the MyFitnessPal app, and I set a target goal, a weight goal, right? And then it helps you figure out how many calories you need to take in. So I didn't have to do all that math. They did it for me. Then I had like the weight gain shakes that would give me a lot of, I don't remember what they're called. I get them from Amazon, Subscribe and Save. And so every month I just get these big bags of like weight gain powder, right? You just mix it with milk and Just a lot of protein and a lot of stuff. So basically, I would just keep track of what I was eating every day to make sure I hit that calorie goal. Then I also made sure that I worked out. So every day, like after work, I come in through my basement door. I have like all my clothes and stuff are down in the basement by the washing machine. So I'd change out of my work clothes right there before I do anything else. And then I had a little weight set and a weight bench right next to the laundry room. So I'd go right from changing out of my work clothes right to there. I'd do like a little work, just like a 15-minute workout. Tried to just lift like the heaviest weights I could. And then I would go upstairs and see my family. And that way, like, I always got it in. And immediately after that, I'd go upstairs and eat dinner. So I'd get some calories in right away. I did that consistently for like 2 or 3 months. And I was able to gain that weight. And it was basically like mostly muscle weight. I mean, I would do some cardio as well. And that was basically for mental health. Because if you do like 45 minutes of cardio every day, it does help your mood a lot, like, you know, in your mental health. So that was how I did it. It honestly just takes discipline to be able to eat the amount of calories and to keep doing the workouts. Umberto says, I'm in a pretty non-code intensive day job, so spend from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. doing mostly admin type work, but then go home, do some yoga, and work on a web project in .NET until sometime in the a.m. in the next morning. That's pretty tough schedule too. Going home and working on projects at night. That's like I'm impressed by that. Because I know it's tough. Like, it's tough to have the energy and the motivation at the end of the day after you've already worked. Hubert says, where's the coding? Sorry. Just joined 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we're doing the question and answer stuff, so we kind of got away from coding, and we were getting into nutrition for coders, I guess. But yeah, I'm actually going to wrap up the live chat here in a few minutes, but the video of the code portion of it and everything will be available about a minute or two after I wrap up, so you can check out the recording. Rich says, I'm a student, will hopefully graduate in 3 months' time at the age of 32. Any advice as I look to get into the industry with no experience of working in this area, manual work previously? So I would say work on projects, and that's Ahmed's is giving the same advice here. Yeah, work on projects. So if you don't already have projects that you're working on, get some. Like, contribute to other people's open source projects on GitHub, and that'll show employers that you can do the work and that you're passionate about the coding and what you do. Because if you're taking time where you're not even getting paid to work on this, obviously, like, this is something you like to do. So I would do that, and then try to get, until you find full-time work, try to get some clients, freelancing. So I would just maybe start out in your local area to try to get some. If you really can't find it, you can go on some of the freelancing sites. I haven't had much luck with that. You probably won't make very much money, but if you just need some work, it's not a bad place to go. And then just keep learning. And if you have to take a job that's not coding related to pay the bills, then, that's cool too. Just make sure that you always try to keep coding. James said I had to have my colon removed. Sorry to hear that, James. I hope everything's healing up well and properly. I know my wife went through major surgery in the beginning of November, so I know that can be really tough to recover from. I know even now she's still having complications from the surgery, so Good luck with that. Umberto says, need a software dev day job. So then the evenings would be all about my wife and me. She's been super understanding about my craving to code. That's awesome. That's really important if you have your family's understanding about things. And it's important to spend time with family too. And I mean, I say that knowing that I don't always spend as much time with my family as I should, because you just get into the work. There's deadlines, things need to get done. So don't forget that, though. I mean, the work will always be there, but your family might not. Even like your kids grow up, they leave. At some point, your kids don't want to hang out with you anymore. So, and I'm saying this, I need to take my own advice. So I'm saying this to myself as well. Ahmed says, sorry to hear about your wife, Jesse. Take care of her. Yeah, I mean, she's doing good now, to the point, like, there's just some weird complications and stuff going on from her surgery. So the worst part is, I don't want to get like super personal, so I don't want to weird anybody out, but like the worst part is for us, like she's not able to have kids anymore, and that was like unexpected. We had thought that we'd be able to have more kids. We're really young. Like, I'm only 31. So kind of expected to have more years of kids. So that's kind of for me at least, that's like the toughest part. And then for my wife, still having like pain and things going on. So she's just been doing physical therapy and seeing a lot of doctors and stuff. But hopefully one of her doctors has her on this new like nutrition plan and physical therapy and stuff. So we're hoping that that'll work out and help her. Okay, cool. And I've reached the end of the live chat. So I kind of ended on like a down note. So I didn't intend to, but then I just reached the end of the chat. So thanks for all the support. I have some people in the live chat giving some messages of support for me and for my wife. And I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. Oh, James says there are a lot of kids out there that need to be adopted. That's always a good alternative. Yeah, you're right, James. That's true. I did look into my oldest son is 7, and he was asking me about adopting kids a few weeks back, and so I checked into it. Right now, it actually costs a lot of money to adopt, at least to adopt like babies and stuff. So it's a little bit out of my range right now, but hopefully in the future I'll be at a place financially where that's possible. And yeah, I mean, I love babies, I love kids, I love having kids around, so I'm definitely open to adopting one day at some point. I think if I can always have a little kid, like, or one to come home to, I'll be fine no matter what happens at work. If you can come home and there's a little one there, and they just want to give you a hug, and it just like wipes away all the nonsense that happened that day and all the stress and everything. So I'll be sad when I don't have that anymore. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah, I have some people saying thanks for your time. You're welcome, everybody. And on that note, I am going to wrap this up because this video ended up being really, really long. Yeah, I think I answered everybody's questions. If I missed something, send me a message on Twitter or put it in the comments below, and I'll try to get you an answer. And sorry if I missed your question. I should be back. There's going to be at least one day this week where I'm going to have to change. I either won't be able to stream, or I'll have to change the stream time. I don't know where I have my here's my calendar. I just want to check real quick. Okay, so tomorrow I should be good. Same time streaming, but Thursday is going to have to be a different time because I'm going to have a long meeting around 1. I might be able to get out of the meeting earlier, but I don't want to schedule anything and then have to cancel. So Thursday might be an off time for the stream, and then Friday I should be good at the normal time. So, my Twitter handle is, someone asked about my Twitter handle. It's in the description for this video, so just check below, and there should be a link to it. All right, so thank you so much for watching, and especially if you stuck around for this super long video. And thanks for, I talked a lot about like non-code related stuff, so thanks for listening through all of that. And you all have been really great and really helpful when I had all those errors and things come up. So I really appreciate that. The video was somewhat less instructional than I had hoped, just because of some of the errors and stuff. So hopefully you did get something out of it if you've never submitted a pull request before. But I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully maybe we can have some good news about the pull request. Maybe it'll be accepted. But have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow.